You're listening to Integrity Radio, WINT, 1330 AM, 101.5 FM, Willoughby, Cleveland.
The John Cupo Show with Thomas Pope, WINT, Integrity Radio. And very privileged to have a gentleman who is portraying one of my favorite movie characters of all time, Mr. Old Man Parker, played by the late, great Darren McGavin. But we have our own here in Cleveland right now, performing as the old man in A Christmas Story that is now currently running through Cleveland Playhouse Square, Mr. Christopher Gerson. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. Good morning, John.
Well, I just got to say it. How the hell did you get into playing this guy?
It's a good question, I suppose. John McCluggage is the director of the play here. Had auditioned me for some other part years and years before, and when it came around to casting this role, he thought of me. He hadn't talked to me in a long time. He called me out of the blue, and he said, "I know you're perfect for it," and he put me into it right away.
That is so cool.
I didn't even audition at the time.
So how many times have you had to watch that movie? I have yet to see your performance of it, and I have seen others do it in the past. How many times have you watched that movie, and how much do you really try to take on the character of what Darren did in that movie?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm never going to be Darren McGavin. I'm a huge fan of his, and all the way back to the days of watching, The Night Stalker, and I love him, and I knew I wasn't going to be exactly like him. It was just never really going to be the case. The stage play is a little bit different, though it has all the joy and the if you love the movie, you definitely love the play. But the play has a different feel to it, and so I have my own sort of interpretation, which is a bit of of course I followed Darren McGavin's lead because he was so brilliant at it, but I throw in quite a lot of my own real father, who was a little bit like this character as well, so I do a bit of him as well, so I get a chance to sort of meld a lot of real life stuff with stuff from the movie as well. I love the movie. My in-laws, my wife who's here in town with me right now for the holidays, her family watches that show every year and watches the movie every year and just loves it. So it was just as much as part of their family as any Christmas tradition.
We are with Christopher Gerson. He's performing as Old Man Parker in A Christmas Story that's at Cleveland Playhouse Square, running now through December 23rd at the Allen Theater. Chris, why don't you, I'm intrigued by that you said that you took part of the character that's from the movie, but you also used your father. And I think that for me, myself, is that even my own father, when I watch that, I'm like, wait a minute, that's my old man did some of that stuff too. So why don't you kind of discuss your role, because you did say it's different from the play versus the movie. Why don't you discuss that and the production of what you're actually doing on stage versus what everybody's used to in seeing the movie?
Sure. Just a live stage play, by the nature of it being a live play, it changes things because there's the relationship to the audience, right? The audience is the other character. That's what makes it sort of dynamic and fun. The audience reacts. They have a certain energy, and so you're always playing off the audience. I love acting in the movies. It's a great joy to me as well. But the stage is really something as an actor because you get that energy from the people that are watching it. So that in and of itself is a big shift. I can't help but fall into my own dad. He was, in many ways, the embodiment of the old man. This idea of like sort of gruff and grumbly outside, and yet had this really soft inside, and was kind of it was a little bit sentimental. Always built to the big gift. That was his thing. He loved that. What's the big gift? And he the thing that the old man does at the end of the movie, where he says, "Hey, what's that over there underneath the window?" As if all the gifts have been given. And so he's sort of covering up the fact that the big gift comes at the end. That was totally my dad. He did that every year for somebody. So I love that, and it's an easy way to connect with the character. I think that the stage play, there's a lot of scenes in the stage play that are not in the movie, and you get to see some more of what the characters do that you don't get to see in the film, which is a lot of fun. And a little bit of that is the relationship of the old man to his wife, and you get to see the relationship, their relationship over the conflict of the leg lamp over time, as she is not particularly fond of it, and he loves it. So that's a little different as well.
Well, Chris, you have a lot of credits to your name, and a lot of, I say, more dramatic roles that you've done over the course of your career. How helpful is this one where you just kind of get to, you know what, I can throw on my cardigan sweater and a flannel shirt underneath and put on some penny loafers, and I can play this out? Do you find this character is more like you versus some of the other stuff that you've done that have been a little bit in more serious roles?
Oh, well, first of all, I love comedy, so any chance you can get. I mean, comedy is actually very difficult. The landing of a joke is a hard job. So to me, that is just it's a lot of fun. I end up playing as you might imagine, with this voice, I end up playing a lot of bad guys, and it's a great joy to me. I've come here for years now to do a Christmas Story, and this cast who comes back time and time again, who are old friends of mine now, and we have a holiday tradition of doing this show. I mean, there's a great deal of joy of playing this part and being with these people. So for me, it's really a lot of fun and a great break from playing the heavies, which is really terrific to play the sweet old dad who may look a little gruff on the outside, but really he's the good guy.
Well, you had one when you were a kid, so you have to get Ralphie the Red Rider, don't you?
You betcha. You betcha. I mean, for heaven's sake.
Chris, one thing that is what you just mentioned there is that you come back to Cleveland. How much more does it mean to you to get the feel of the crowd as, say, maybe if you did this play, let's say in New York City, which we know that A Christmas Story is a national phenomenon every Christmas.
Sure.
But when you actually come to the roots of where, yes, it takes place in Cleveland. We know the story actually does take place in Indiana. However, you're downtown. They got the Shoreway. I mean, I drive where the tire went flat. I was driving up in that every day for my commute to work to the radio station. So how much more energy do you get from a Cleveland crowd versus somewhere else, say a Chicago or New York or anywhere else you may do that?
Oh, it's no comparison. I mean, there is no comparison. Doing it in Cleveland, you're at ground zero, right, for this story. So the excitement for it and the interest in it and the joy of the audience takes in it is just not comparable. And I have friends of mine that do this show in other parts of the country, and I am the envy of the Christmas Story crowd because I get to do it here. I love the audiences in Cleveland, regardless. Even not for this story, but for this story in particular, it is a real joy. I've walked out on stage to a sea of bunny suits. I mean, it's amazing. Audiences are very into it, and I really enjoy it. I look forward to it every year.
That is super cool. Another thing going on in that area, Chris, is the Festival of Trees.
Right.
How about you go over that? That's kind of a unique thing that we have here in the city.
Yeah, I love it. Every year, it's sort of in the lobby of the Allen Theater, which is where we do Christmas Story. And as you walk in the doors, there's I don't know, 100 trees with all decorated different ways by different designers here in town. And it's sort of an extraordinary thing to see. On certain nights as well, select nights here at the theater, and I think it's mostly weekends, Santa Claus comes and all the kids can get their picture taken with Santa Claus in the midst of these hundreds of beautifully decorated trees. It's really lovely. I think it's quite a sight. I love to see it every year.
It is an amazing sight down there. Again, that's at the Allen Theater, which the Christmas Story is being performed. We're with Christopher Gerson, who plays Old Man Parker in the production of A Christmas Story, Cleveland Playhouse Square. It's clevelandplayhouse.com. You can call him 216-241-6000. All right, Chris, just because I am one of these guys with A Christmas Story that I can do the movie verbatim. I've watched it 8,000 times. I know the roles of Ralphie. I know the roles of Randy. I know the roles of the old man, everything. So you mind if I give you a little trivia on some things?
Oh, boy. Lay it on me. All
right.
I'm up for it.
The gift that he received from his wife, not the bowling ball, but it was an old polish that was used on cars back in the day that was almost like rubbing sandpaper on your car. What was the gift that he got?
Cyanide.
All right, very good.
That I know. Motorists wise, Simon.
What location on the earth would his car freeze?
Where would it freeze? Oh, this is not a line from the play, but I can hear it in my head. Oh.
He's trying real hard. It's right there. It's on the tip of the tongue.
I can feel it. It's out there just beyond my grasp. All right, what is it?
Son of a would freeze up in the middle of summer on the equator.
And on the equator, simmering bishop.
And final question for you, Chris. What was the soap that he did not want his wife to use on Ralphie when he became blind? I told you not to use what?
Lifebuoy.
Yes, very good. Chris, just give us a final ladder speech on the play, what you're doing down there, how great it is over at the Cleveland Playhouse, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is an amazing production that you guys do, and if there was anything joyful that anybody could go out and do for this holiday season up and through the 23rd, please go see The Christmas Story at the Allen Theater in Playhouse Square. So give it a go, Chris.
Yeah, come to see A Christmas Story. This is a holiday tradition for us and the cast. We come back every year, and this is not not the norm. We come back here because we love it. We love this community. We love the connection that we have with this particular production. And A Christmas Story is a blast. So come and see us. We take great joy in it.
Christopher Gerson, thank you so much. And you'll have to. We'll have our sales rep who set this interview up with you. We got to get some pictures from you.
Oh, great.
So we can put them on the website. You and the rest of the crew, we'll put them up there, and we'll do as much promotion for you as we can. But you can probably guarantee that a lot of us are going to be down there at some point through the 23rd to see your performance, because I know it's going to be a hell of a one.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. Really nice to talk to you.
You too, Chris. Thank you so much.
Take care.